What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2001 Ford Focus ZX3. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline four that's been supercharged, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Ford Focus for two reasons. First of all, this is the first gen Ford Focus, and I've always had a soft spot for them. I love this body style. I love the way they look. I grew up around them, and so there's a bunch of nostalgia with that. But the second reason, you could probably tell, is that it is supercharged. Now, it is an aftermarket supercharger. This was not a factory offering from Ford, but I'm excited to share it with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zachpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2-liter inline four under the hood that has been supercharged. Well, let's first talk about the ZX, and I personally believe it's one of the closest engines we got to an import engine in an American car from an American manufacturer. I've always enjoyed the ZX engines. They're buzzy, they're fun. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of substance to them. They're not torque monsters, but they're just here for a good time, and they've always delivered a very engaging driving experience because of that buzziness, and I love to see that. Now, this one has then been supercharged. The owner predicts that it's making a little over 200. There aren't any dyno sheets to back that up, but my butt dyno has to agree with Blake. The supercharger definitely adds something special, not only with the whine that you hear while driving, but it then fills in the gap where the little 2-liter had issues, which was low-end torque. The supercharger adds power solidly throughout the power band, and so when in doubt, whine it out. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission, again, taking notes from the imports. Very notchy, very clicky into gear. The clutch is overly light. I was driving a Ford Ranger in manual this morning, and so now driving this, it feels like a Fisher-Price toy, but I like that. I've always enjoyed light clutches. I've always enjoyed clicky shifter feels, and again, the Focus ZX3 delivers both of those. Last but not least, of course, this vehicle is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive a supercharged ZX3 Focus? Well, besides feeling like the man, it's a very, very fun driving experience. Are you going to break the town speed limit? Maybe not. With the supercharger, you certainly get closer, but it's all about rowing it out. It's all about driver engagement. It's all about emotional feedback. And it just puts a smile on my face every time I row through these gears. Up and down the tachometer, it's just... Oh man, it's like that first sip of a slushie right before your movie begins. And I'm not doing anything wrong. Since when was smiling and giggling a crime? Oh, I love it. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. On the steering wheel, although it is very big and pillowy, I do have my cruise control options to the bottom left and right. Off to the left, we have our trunk release, climate control vent, headlight switch, and gauge dimmer switch. And moving out of the door, we have our power mirrors up top, power windows, and power locks down below. Moving into the center, we do have a boost and AFR gauge. Of course, this is aftermarket for the supercharger. But then we get the 2 oval climate controls, very synonymous with Ford at the time. We have an aftermarket radio down below, 12-volt outlet with the ashtray, and our climate controls. This is an AC car, which I'm very thankful here this morning, but it's really simple. Temperature off to the left, where to send it in the center, fan speed off to the right. Down below, we have 2 cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And if you remove the lining of the cup holders, it will, in fact, accommodate my big friggin' bottle. Then we have the shifter in the center. This does have an aftermarket shift knob, of course, but I really, really enjoy it. I think it looks good. And as I mentioned with the driving feel, it's super notchy, super likable, and it's just a blast to use. We also do have the handbrake in the center, and then we have some Corbeau aftermarket seats. These are not the original seats for the Focus ZX3. However, they are big man friendly, which is not always easy to find with aftermarket seats. A lot of the cars I review that have aftermarket seats, I sit on top of the seat rather than in the seat, but that's not the case here. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. Oh boy, oh boy. So these are not the factory seats. Oh, but they do go forward. Oh God. Oh. All right, now getting back here was awful. But once I am back here, it's actually not bad. The seats are kind of bouncy, a little comfortable. I can put my arm on the rear privacy shelf. I like that. I don't really like two-door cars at all because of getting in the back is always such a struggle, but I think it kind of works with the ZX3, and I don't know, once I'm back here, it's fine. I can just imagine myself on a rally stage, you know, going through the wilderness, you know, that sort of thing. I'm not a good car impressionist, but it's not bad. It's not bad as you'd think. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the Ford Focus ZX3, we do have a trunk popper here on the key fob. I don't think it wants to work today. You know what? I don't blame them. I don't want to work today either. Pop it open like that, and you actually do get a pretty sizable trunk. Always, always, always like the size of the trunks. Makes this car very practical, and those seats do fold. So yeah, you can hit the twisties on your way home from work, but you could also stop at Costco and stock up on those little chocolate blueberries that they have there. Stuff like that. You could fit back here pretty normally, which is very cool to see. Tons of space out of the Focus ZX3. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I adore the look of the first generation Focus. I think Ford really hit the nail on the head. It's subtle enough. They somehow beat the blobby allegations from the era. Their Ford Taurus was the epitome of the bubble styling, and yet this somehow doesn't feel that way. It actually looks not modern. It doesn't look brand new, but it looks good. It's very well proportioned, it's well sculpted, and I think having seen the rally car before this, that white and blue rally car, I think sort of bleeds over into my feelings on this car, but that's okay. I've never claimed to be an unbiased reviewer. So yeah, the rally car makes the normal cars look cooler. I don't know what to tell you. However, with all of this being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a Ford Focus ZX3 from 2001 with a little supercharger sprinkled on top? Well, it's been nothing short of a wonderful experience. Normally at this point in the video, I would be complaining about Ford build quality, but this has 80,000 miles, and although the vents have seemed to age at different times, the overall interior quality is good. Everything is still held together. So I can't really talk about Ford build quality in this video because, well, this example is prime. So what can I talk about? Well, let's talk about the Ford Focus ZX3 as a whole. I think this car is incredibly overlooked. Even in its stock format without the supercharger, the 2.0 ZTEC is a very, very fun engine. And from what I've read in my previous knowledge, I think they're pretty reliable, decently reliable. I haven't heard anything super crazy on either end of the spectrum, and so I have to say that these are probably okay. They're very, very fun engines, even though they aren't dual overhead cam, at least this particular ZTEC. They did have dual overhead cam ZTECs, like for the SVT, but it's not this one. It's still a fun, buzzy engine, and it's just here to offer you a smile on your face. Is it here to break land speed records? Should you take this to Route 66 Dragway and try to compete for the gold? No. But if you try to do that, you're missing the point of this car. It's a fun around town momentum style car. When you get on some curvy roads and you can keep that power in the right spot, these things are a blast. But you can also commute in these. Now, this does have some modifications like coilovers and wheels and the bucket seats, which might make it a little bit less dailyable. But a regular ZX3 is going to be fine to go to work, go to school, and have fun on the back road on the way home. But because this came from an American company, a country that historically has not had a focus on handling and maneuverability of cars, we've always been a big displacement, big car country. Coming from a country like that, you don't expect this to be be a good import fighter. I like the hatchback. The SRT4 wasn't a hatchback. I like that it's the two-door sleek look. Historically, I don't like two doors, but I think it works here well. I don't know. I'm so smitten over this vehicle. I could go on for hours and hours, but it's YouTube, and the modern attention span wouldn't stick around for that. So I'll end the video here today with some beauty shots of a 2001 Ford Focus ZX3 with a supercharger. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Blake for letting me take out his Focus. This was such an eye-opening and cool experience. I promise you I will never walk past a ZX3 Focus in a parking lot ever again without a little bit of a smile curling on the edge of my lip. And that is all thank you to Blake. He's been absolutely wonderful to meet me here in Michigan. Really down-to-earth guy. It was really fun talking to him about the car and all the other Focuses and Ford products he's owned in the past. So really, really cool to see that. And I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.